Hi students, welcome to Diamond Group of Institutions NEET and KCET online classes. Today we are going to discuss about the properties of matter. Actually, if NEET students may not prepare this chapter properties of matter. In this properties of matter we discuss mechanical properties of solids and mechanical properties of fluids, liquids. Okay, na? So here only I am going to explain you previous year's questions and easy questions. Some concepts only I am going to cover here. So concentrate on that questions. Okay. So see the first question. The elastic limit of brass is 379 megapascal. Okay. Elastic limit they given 379 megapascal. What should be the minimum diameter of a brass rod? If it is to support a load 400 Newton load, okay na, load is 400 Newton without exceeding its elastic limit, to support this 400 Newton load, what is the diameter of the wire we have to find, what is the minimum diameter of the brass rod we have to find. Okay, so here to find out that one, first we have to find the stress. So stress equal to, what is the formula? Stress formula already we know. Stress equal to the force upon area. So force per, here they are asking the diameter, na area ka formula is, cross sectional area of the rod is circular shape only, so pi r square, but they are asking the diameter. So d equal to the 2r, na, so r equal to the d by 2 whole square, that means area equal to the pi d square by 4. I am writing here area is a pi d square by 4 means 4 will go upside. So d is the minimum diameter they are asking. So whatever the stress is developing in the rod due to this load 400 Newton, that should not exceed the elastic limit. That means here the stress should be less than or equal to the elastic limit 379 megapascals. Now substitute the sigma is this stress value 4f by pi d square minimum less than or equal to 379 into 10 power 6 pascals. Now d minimum square, so d square minimum, that means we have to find the diameter of the rod minimum. So now send this one to this side. So 4 into force, F is nothing but the load here. Load is how much? 400 Newton. So 4 into 400 Newton by pi is pi into this one, send this side 376 into 10 power 6 pascals. Now d square minimum value we will get. So once pause the video and do the simplification, we will get the minimum diameter of the rod is 1.16 into 10 power minus 3 meter. That is nothing but 1.16 millimeter. So 1.16 millimeter. So the minimum diameter is this much. Okay na? So if less than this much, then what will happen? It will break easily. Okay, so now here what is that? To support this 400 Newtons, the minimum diameter of the rod is 1.16 millimeter. So answer C is the right option. Now come to see the second question. Young's modulus of two wires A and B are in the ratio 7:4. So Young moduli ratio given for the A and B wires. Okay, and wire A is 2 meter long. So length of the wire A is 2 meter and has radius R. Radius is the R they given, capital R. Wire B is 1.5 meter long and has the radius is 2 millimeter. Radius given 2 millimeter. If the wires stretched by the same length, they are stretching by hanging some load, it will be stretched. Okay, so stretching is the same here, stretched by the same length for a given load. Given load means same load we are hanging to these wires. So for load also same here. Okay, then the value of the R is close to the, what is the R? R means the radius of the wire A we have to find. So first to say Young modulus they given, first I am going to write the Young modulus. Okay, Young modulus is equal to the formula. So longitudinal stress to the longitudinal strain. So stress is nothing but the force per area. Strain is nothing but the change in the dimension by original dimension. Okay, change in the length by original length here. Okay, F by A into L by del L. So here they said same stretch by same length, na? So change in the length is same, na? So that's why I am finding the change in the length. So change in the length, send this side, Y will come to its place. Del L equal to FL by A is pi r square Y. Okay, now we got the change in the dimension, change in the length, FL by pi r square y. Okay, this is the formula. And next I am going to write the given data. Length of the A wire given 2 meters and the length of the B wire given 1.5 meters, and the ratio of the young modulus they given 7:4 A to B, YA by YB equal to 7/4, and the radius of the B wire they given 2 millimeter. And the next same load for a given load means same load we are hanging to the A wire and B wire. So FA equal to the FB, and same length extended stretched. So del A equal to the del B. Okay, na? So by using this formula we have to find the radius of the A wire we have to find. Okay, so del A by del LB equal to del L formula already we found na? FA LA by pi RA square into YA equal to FB LB by pi RB square into YB. Okay, why? Because this by hanging the load, same load we are hanging, so FA equal to FB, and the same stretching also same, del LA equal to del. We are equating from that. See now RA square value we need, send this one to this side, remaining terms FA FB will be cancelled, both are same, and pi will be cancelled. Next what will be LA by LB, send this side, YB send this side, YB by YA, and RB send this side, RB square. So RA square, RA send this side, RA square equal to this one we will get. So now RA square equal to LA by LB value, LA value is to LB value 1.5, and YB by YA, YA by YB 7/4, YB by YA equal to 4/7 into RB value is a 2 millimeter, 2 into 10 power minus 3 meter. Whole square is there, whole square. Okay, now simplify it, keep the video pause and simplify this one. We will get the radius of the wire A is 1.7 into 10 power minus 3 meters, that means 1.7 millimeter. So answer is the 1.7 millimeter. In this way solve the problem. Easy question, you have to remember the formula of the Young modulus, stress, strain, all these formulas you have to remember. Okay, see the next question, third question. A steel wire having a radius of 2 millimeter carrying a load of 4 kg is hanging from a ceiling, given that G value given 3.1 pi meter per second square. So what will be the tensile stress that would be developed in the wire? Okay, stress we have to find. That means a steel wire from this ceiling, a steel wire he is hanging from the ceiling, a load of mass they given 4 kg. So weight equal to the how much we will get, mass into G, M into G. Okay, now how much stress is developed in this wire we have to find. So the stress developed in the wire is equal to the force per area. Force is nothing but the load. So load is nothing but the weight of that weight. Okay, load is equal to the weight. Now weight equal to how much, mg. So mg by area of the pi r square, cross sectional area of the wire equal to the pi r square. So now mass is how much, mass given how much, 4 kg. So 4 into G value they given 3.1 into pi, 3.1 into pi by pi r square, r value they given 2 millimeter. So 2 into 10 power minus 3 whole square. So this pi will be cancelled. This is the 2 square now, this one will be cancelled. 10 power minus 3 whole square means 10 power minus 6. Send upside, it will become 10 power 6. So 3.1 into 10 power 6 Newton per meter square. So tensile stress developed in the wire is 3.1 into 10 power 6 Newton per meter square. Okay, na? So maximum in this chapter we will get the questions based on the formulas only. So learn the formulas. And next, see the next question. The pressure of a medium is changed from 1.01 into 10 power 5 Pascal to 1.165 into 10 power 5 Pascal. Okay, na? So pressure is changed from this much, and change in volume is 10%, keeping the temperature constant. Volume is changes 10%. The bulk modulus of the medium is, the bulk modulus we have to find. So actually the bulk modulus formula is bulk modulus equal to the volume stress to the volume strain. Okay, so volume stress formula also force per area only. Volume strain is nothing but change in volume by original volume. So B equal to the force upon area is nothing but if we consider a spherical body, the pressure exerted by the pressure is nothing, F by A will give the pressure. Okay, so pressure by either del V by V. Okay, so here we will get the minus sign. So why we are keeping the negative sign means, so pressure increases, volume decrease. If we are compressing, volume decreases, then inside pressure increases. If we are expanding, okay, if we are expanding, then volume increases, pressure decreases. So here one pressure increases, volume decreases, pressure increases. So that negative sign is indicative. One increases, other one is decreasing. So that's why we are keeping the negative sign here. So bulk modulus ka formula equal to the change in the pressure by change in the volume with respect to the original volume. Okay, del V by V. This is the volume strain. Okay, now they given change in the pressure we have to see. So 1.01 into 10 power 5 Pascal to the 1.16 into 10 power 5 Pascal changed. So final minus initial 1.16 into 10 power 5 minus 1.01 into 10 power 5. So this is the change in the pressure. By change in the volume is they given change in the volume is 10%. That means dV by V equal to the 10% means so 10 by 100. Okay, dV by V value also given 10 by 100. So now at the place of dV by V 10 by 100. Now 1.16 into 10 power 5 minus 1.01 into 10 power 5 subtract and this multiply. Then we will get the answer bulk modulus equal to the 1.55 into 10 power 5 Pascal. Okay, now 1.55 into 10 power 5 Pascal. So answer D is the right option. Okay, so bulk modulus formula you have to remember change in the pressure by change in the volume with respect to the original volume. That means bulk modulus is the volume stress by the volume strain. Okay, why we are keeping negative sign also I said. So you have to remember the formulas. Totally you will get the formula based questions only. Okay, see the next question, fifth question. A wooden block with a coin placed on its top floats in water as shown. Okay, now this is the wooden block. On this block we have the coin. This wooden block is floating in the water as shown. The distance L and H are shown there. Okay, now this is the distance L. The bottom of the wooden block with respect to this water surface is L. Okay, now this is L and the water level is the H. Okay. After some time the coin falls into the water. Then if this coin is fall into the water, then what will happen? That they are asking. Okay, now so this type of questions we can expect in the NEET exam. Okay, remember here whenever the coin is on the wooden block, okay, now on the wooden block, the volume of the water displaced by the coin is due to its weight, that is the V1. And the next, whenever the coin fall in the water, okay, the volume of the water displaced by the coin is equal to its own volume, that is the V2. Okay, but whenever the coin is on the wooden block, the volume of the liquid displaced by the coin is equal to the weight of that one. So density of the coin is more than the density of this liquid. Okay, now so density is more than the density of this one. So volume V1 is greater than the V2. So volume is greater when the block when the coin is on the wooden block, and volume is less when the coin is inside the liquid. That means if the coin is fall into the liquid, then this wooden block somewhat it lift upward. That means L will be decreases. And next, whenever the coin is fall in the liquid, then that volume is less than the initial volume. That means H also decreases. Okay, now both H, L both will be decrease here option. Otherwise, only simple way we can remember that whenever the coin is on the wooden block, volume displaced by the coin is more. Okay, the volume of the water displaced by the coin is more, and whenever the coin is within the liquid, the volume of the liquid displaced by the coin is less. Okay, now so initially volume is more, whenever it is in the liquid the volume is the less. So then that's why this L, if coin is fall, this it will be lift up, then this L value decreases, we know that one. And next, whenever it is on this one, it is occupying the more volume, whenever in the liquid it is occupying the less volume, so totally the volume is decreasing. So volume decreases means cross sectional area is not changing, volume decreases means volume equal to area into height. So cross sectional area is not changing, volume is decreasing means H also decreasing, H also decreasing. So this type of questions are very important. So if the coin is on the wooden block, L decreases, H decreases, both decreases. Don't get confusion here. Sometimes they may ask the question, one metal ball is within the ice. Okay, ice is within the ice. Okay, now like this is the metal ball, total ice is there. Now this ice is floating on the water, then after some time total ice will be melt and metal ball fall in the fall in this liquid, okay, water, then water level increases or decreases or something they will ask. So if total ice melt and metal ball fall in the liquid, then water level decreases. Remember that point, okay, water level decreases. Here also H is decreasing, na? Same way water level decreases. Remember that point. Concept based question this one. Next, see the next question. A hemispherical portion of radius r is removed from the bottom of a cylindrical of radius r. Suppose this is the cylindrical shape, radius of this one is the r. So hemispherical face is cutted. So hemispherical face is cutted here. Okay. The volume of the remaining cylinder is V and mass is m. Remaining portion ka volume is V and mass is m. It is suspended by a string in a liquid of density rho. So this is the bowl I am taking in that water. I am suspending this one from a string. Okay, now this is in the liquid now. So where it stays vertical, it is staying vertical. The upper surface of the cylinder is at a depth h below the liquid surface. So this is the liquid surface. This upper surface is from the liquid surface h. Okay, h depth from the liquid surface, upper surface. Okay, next the force on the bottom of the cylinder by the liquid is, what is the force acting on the bottom surface we have to find. So due to the liquid on the top surface, force is acting in the downward direction. Okay, now here due to this liquid, force is acting in the upward direction, F2, and this liquid is exerting the force on upward direction, upthrust. Okay, now force exerted by the liquid in upward direction is nothing but the upthrust. Okay, na? So due to the pressure on this one, force is F2 and here the force is F1. So difference in this force is equal to the upthrust. F2 minus F1 equal to the upthrust. Here the force is more, here the force is less. If you are going into the depth, then pressure increases and force on the bottom surface also increases. Here force is more, here force is less, and the difference of force will give the upthrust. Okay, na? Okay, now F2 equal to the force equal to, we know already formula, pressure equal to the force upon area. Now force equal to the pressure into area. Okay, now pressure into area. So now at this, now we have to find the force at the bottom, we have to find. So bottom ka force is F2. Now F2 equal to, send F1 to this side, F1 plus upthrust. So F1, either force is how much we have to find. So force equal to what? Pressure into area. So due to this liquid column, the pressure is here. The pressure formula is rho g h. Remember this formula. Okay, rho is the density of the liquid, g, and h is the height or depth of the surface from the water surface. Now this h. So rho g h into area, cross sectional area. This cross sectional area of the cylinder is circular shape. Now pi r square. Okay, so F1, the force acting on the top surface is rho g h into pi r square, plus upthrust. Upthrust is nothing but the force acting on the body in the liquid in upward direction is nothing but the upthrust. Upthrust formula already we know, rho v g. Rho is, upthrust is due to the liquid, so rho is nothing but the density of the liquid. V is nothing but the volume of the body within the liquid. So your total body is in the within the liquid, na? So this body ka volume I am taking and g. So from this, rho g is the common. If we take the rho g as a common, so pi r square h plus v is. So now F2 equal to, we are getting the force acting on the bottom is rho g into pi r square h plus v. So in the options, according to options I did here, actually here pressure, atmospheric pressure P naught also there, we can add atmospheric pressure P naught also. So options mein P naught is not given, that's why I am taking only forces only, atmospheric pressure not considered here. If atmospheric pressure also there, here we have to add the one more term, that is the P naught into A. Okay, P naught into A we have to add here. So here options mein P naught is not given, that's why the force acting on the bottom equal to rho g into pi r square h plus v. So option D is the right answer. In this way we have to solve the problems. Question 7th question. A vessel contains oil, density 0.8 gram per centimeter cube, over a mercury, density 13.6 gram per centimeter cube. A homogeneous sphere floats with half its volume immersed in mercury and the other half in oil. The density of the material of the sphere in gram per centimeter cube is. Okay, so this is the vessel now. In this vessel we have the oil and mercury. Mercury is in the down, and over the mercury we have the oil. Oil density they given, oil density equal to 0.8 gram per centimeter cube, and mercury density also they given, that is 13.6 gram per centimeter cube. They are asking the density of the sphere. Okay, now this sphere they are keeping in this vessel. So then half of the volume of the sphere is in the oil and half of the volume of the sphere is in the mercury. Then what is the density they are asking? Now it is in the equilibrium. If it is in the equilibrium, then weight is in the downward direction, weight equal to m into g, and the force, the liquid is exerting the force in upward direction, that is the upthrust. So whenever the body is in the equilibrium in the liquid, then weight of the body is equal to the upthrust. So weight equal to the mg, or it is equal to the weight equal to the m into g. So mass equal to the density into volume into g, rho vg. So this rho is the density of the sphere, not liquid. Okay, na? This rho is the density of the sphere and the volume of the sphere and a gravity. Okay, rho vg equal to upthrust. Here this body is in the half volume is in the oil and half volume is in the mercury. So both oil and mercury both are exerting the force on this body in upward direction. So upthrust is due to the oil and mercury. So first upthrust due to the oil equal to the upthrust formula. Upthrust equal to the formula already I said in the previous question, rho Vg. Okay, na? Here I am using the rho, here I am using the rho. Just variation you have to see. This rho, whenever we are measuring the weight, this rho is the density of the body. Okay, so whenever we are finding the upthrust, this rho is the density of the liquid. Upthrust is due to the liquid, so density of the liquid. If you are getting confusion, means here sigma you can use, here rho you can use, different symbols you can use. Okay, na? So this is the upthrust due to the oil, means oil ka density into the volume within the oil. Okay, oil volume of the sphere within the oil into gravity. So here upthrust is due to the oil and mercury, na? So upthrust ka formula rho Vg. So volume how much inside the oil? Half of the volume, V by 2, and oil ki density rho into G, plus in the mercury how much volume is there? Half volume, V by 2. Okay, total volume is V, na? Half volume in the oil, half volume in the mercury, and the density of the mercury into G. Okay, upthrust is due to the oil ka density, and due to the mercury ka density. This is the density of the sphere. Now Vg will be cancelled. Remaining density of the sphere equal to the oil density by 2 and mercury density per 2. Okay, now density of the sphere equal to the oil density 0.8 gram per centimeter cube they given, and mercury density 13.6 gram per centimeter they given. After simplification, this rho is the density of the sphere, that is 7.2 gram per centimeter cube we are getting. Option C is the right option. Okay, na? So next time what will you do, means if half is in the oil, half is in the mercury, that means half is in one liquid, half is in the other liquid, if they given, directly use this formula. Okay, na? So then you can get directly, that means density of the object equal to the density of the liquid 1 plus density of the liquid 2 by 2. When we have to use this one, means if half volume is in one liquid, half volume is in the remaining liquid, use this formula. This formula applicable in that case only. Okay, na? So next question, see now. A body floats in a liquid contained in a beaker. Okay, the whole system as shown. Okay, falls freely under the gravity. The upthrust on the body is. So we have to find the upthrust. Okay, so now see here, upthrust formula already in this case only I said rho Vg. Rho is the upthrust is due to the liquid, so rho is the density of the liquid, and V is the volume inside the liquid. Okay, na? Volume inside the liquid into G. But here this body is not in the stable equilibrium, it is falling under the gravity. That means we have to consider the G effective. Okay, density of the liquid into volume of the body within the liquid into G effective. Now if a body is falling down, okay, in the previous questions we saw, if your body is going upside, G effective is G plus A. If your body is falling down, G effective is G minus A. But here it is falling under the gravity, that means acceleration A equal to the G only. So G minus G equal to 0. So G effective equal to the 0 now. Upthrust equal to the how much? 0. If a body is falling freely under the gravity, then upthrust on that body is equal to the 0. So option A is the right answer. These are the based on these questions based on the concept. Important questions, concentrate on these questions. See the next question, ninth question. Water flows into a large tank with a flat bottom at the rate of 10 power minus 4 meter cube per second. Water is also leaking out at a hole of area 1 centimeter square at its bottom. Okay, if the height of the water in the tank remains steady, then this height is. So that means here we have the one tank. Okay, here we have the one hole. Area of this hole is 1 centimeter square. So from tap we are getting the water inside and some water is leaking out. The given that in the question, the tank remains, the height of the water in the tank remains steady. That means this height is always constant only, not changing. That means how much water is entering into tank, same amount of the water is going out. That means, so water inflow rate equal to the outflow rate of the water. Okay, inflow rate of the water equal to the outflow rate of the water, then only the height of the water in the tank will be steady. Okay, that is the condition. From that condition, okay, water inflow rate equal to outflow rate of the water. Inflow rate they given how much? 10 power minus 4 meter cube per second. Okay, now this value they given. And outflow rate from continuity equation we know, outflow rate equal to the cross sectional area into velocity of the water. Okay, velocity of the liquid. Okay, now here we have to find the outflow rate. So to find outflow rate here, cross sectional area of this hole into velocity of the outflow water at this point. Okay, na velocity of the water or velocity of outflow water we have to find. Okay, now 10 power minus 4 into here area of the orifice is nothing but hole. So area is kitna 1 centimeter square. Here they given in terms of the SI system. So 1 centimeter equal to the 10 power minus 2 meters. But centimeter square means so 10 power minus 2 meter whole square. That means 10 power minus 4 meter square. Okay, 10 power minus 4 into velocity. So in this case also we have to use, if a body is falling freely under the gravity, then it will strike the ground with the velocity v equal to root 2 gh. So same formula here also, the velocity of the water which is coming from this hole also have the velocities v equal to root 2 gh. H is nothing but the height of the liquid level from this orifice, above the orifice. Okay, this height we have to find now. Okay, v equal to root 2 gh formula. So I am using here velocity of the outflow formula is root 2 gh. This 10 power minus 4, 10 power minus 4 will be cancelled out. Then root 2 gh equal to 1 we will get to. So square both sides, 2 gh equal to 1 only. H we have to find 1 by 2g. 1 by g value, actually g equal to the 9.8 meter per second square they given. So 9.8 we have to substitute, then 1 by 19.6 meter we will get. So, but options in terms of the centimeter. So 1 meter equal to 100 centimeter, 100 by 19.6, then we will get the almost the value is 5.1 centimeter. So option C is the right answer. So this question is based on the equation of continuity. Okay, na? So inflow rate equal to outflow rate. Why we are considering inflow rate equal to outflow rate? The height of the water tank is remains steady. Okay, na? From that we got here this formula we have to, you have to remember, velocity of outflow is square root of 2gh. So by using that one we got. And the next C, if m is the mass of water that rises in a capillary tube of radius r, okay, now then the mass of the water which will rise in the same in capillary tube of radius 2r is. Okay, so some mass of the water, the m mass of the water they are taking in the capillary tube which has the r radius, it's something it is rising, and same water they are they are keeping in the capillary tube which has the radius is 2r. Then what is the mass? Then the mass of the water which will rise the capillary tube of radius 2r, that we have to find. So in capillary tube you have to remember height of the water or liquid rises in the capillary tube formula. Standard formula remember, h equal to the 2t cos theta by rho rg. How we got this formula means, go to the theory, from that theory you will get it, derivation. Okay, but remember here from this h is inversely proportional to the radius of the capillary tube we are getting. Okay, height of the rise of the water is inversely proportional to the radius of the capillary tube. And the next one more thing, they are given the relationship between the mass of the water and the radius of the capillary tube. So first we have to find, use the density formula, density equal to mass per volume, mass equal to density into volume, mass equal to density into volume is nothing but the cross sectional area into height raises. So now pi r square into h. From this, mass is directly proportional to the r square into h. Mass is directly proportional to the r square into h. H is directly inversely proportional to the 1 by r, inversely proportional to r. So h place mein I am substituting the 1 by r. Then we will get r, 1 r will be cancelled. M is directly proportional to the r. Direct relationship we got. Remember this relationship. Mass is directly proportional to the radius of capillary tube. No need to do all these things if you remember this one. Okay. So now from this we can write it as m2 by m1 equal to r2 by r1. So first what is the radius of the capillary tube? R. Next what is the radius of the capillary tube? 2r. So second case mein capillary tube ka radius is 2r and first case mein capillary tube ka radius is r. And the first case, what is the mass? m1 equal to the m. So rr will be cancelled. We will get the 2 here. m2 equal to m1, send this at 2 m1. First case mein mass equal to how much? 2 into m1 equal to m. So m2 equal to how much? 2m. Answer A is the right answer. So from this chapter, from the properties and matter, we will get the questions based on the concepts and formula based questions only. Not so complicated question they may not give. That's why concentrate on the synopsis and learn the formulas. Simple questions practice. You will get 2 or 3 questions from this total chapter. That means mechanical properties of solids and mechanical properties of the fluids. 2 or 3 questions you will get. The 2 or 3 questions also very easy questions you will get. So concentrate on this chapter also, synopsis and formulas. Learn the formulas and learn the synopsis. You will get direct questions from this chapter. Okay na? Practice well. Thank you.